Good afternoon, guys and gals. Tennessee Yankee here. This is a video review of my 2019 Can-Am Maverick Sport XRC 1000R. Quite a mouthful. Been waiting to get this machine for a long time. A leftover model, picked it up in March of 2020. So done quite a bit to it since I've got it. Happier than heck with this machine. Went from a 2016 Yamaha Grizzly that I sold. Always had four-wheelers, and the wife had a four-wheeler, but she hurt herself and she got out of that. But now this will be an opportunity for us to go ride together. Again, we live in East Tennessee and have some of the best riding around. We have Windrock, Ride Royal Blue, Tackett Creek. Those are just to name a few. So a lot of great places to ride around here. And I wanted a machine that was going to be capable for all the types of riding that we do. So overall, really happy with the choice of this machine. Did a few add-ons to this. You know, when I think I researched this for about 2 years before I bought it. Well, not quite that long because they weren't out that long. But when this machine came out, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the machine that fits most all the bills. So I was excited to be able to pick this up. I had the dealership add the trunk, and what I was getting at is, you know, when I was originally doing all my research, you didn't find a lot of videos with this machine. Now I'm starting to see quite a few more, but that's why I wanted to do this video, so you guys can see all the accessories and maybe get some ideas for yourself. So, like I said, had the dealer put this trunk cover on. Wasn't cheap. I think it was like $450, $460 for it. US dollars, but well worth it. It does a good job keeping the water out. I get a little bit of maybe water in here, but that's if I'm pressure washing it. Even careful, I might get a little bit, but nothing from the ride. You can see all the stuff I have in here. Spare tire pump, you know, jumper cables for the razors that you find on the trail. We got my rigid toolbox in there, spare belt, air compressor, tarp, and still got room to put, you know, some soft coolers in there and some coats and things like that. So pretty cool. It's got these gas shocks, which I really like. Lowers, and then it's got these. The only disappointing thing with this is I'm really surprised that Can-Am didn't put a lock on it. That was a pretty stupid oversight in my opinion, because a lot of times, you know, we're riding to a restaurant or something like that, and you're going to want to get out and leave a lot of the stuff at your machine, so you could lock it up in there. The other thing I had, we'll kind of go in order here. I had the dealer install the roof as well, so you can see a little self-inflicted damage there. But the roof, been really happy with that. And then after that, my next add-on was, after my first ride, I mean, you couldn't even see the tail lights. There was so much mud on this machine. So I went ahead and added the, I'm forgetting the name of them. It's escaping me right here. Let's see, rock blocks. Just great mud flaps. A lot of engineering went into it. You get a package from them that has, you know, your sticker. They send you some candy. It's just funny, just because it's all about customer service with them, and they do a good job. You can really tell that they did a good job engineering these things. When you go under here and you look, he made quite a bracket system for this that adds on, and then this is actually 3 thicknesses of material here for the rear flares. So that's pretty good. That does a good job keeping the mud away. I'm not sure why he stopped here and he didn't keep adding mud flaps down there, but I haven't really noticed it being too much of a problem so far. What we really needed was that big flap in the back. And then on the front, he's got a nice flare out here. I just thought I was getting a lot more value with his mud flaps than I was going to be getting with the aftermarket Can-Am ones, and they're really flexible too, so they bend well. And then he does nice little design elements here, like puts these scores in so they bend nice and conform. And then the hardware he provides to put them in is really nice as well. So one of the nice features he has down here is he has this extra removable mud flap, because you can see that does hang down below the machine. So I kind of like that that's removable, but I haven't had to remove it yet. And I've been over some pretty gnarly rocks, but like I said, everything bends really well. So that doesn't seem to be an issue. And then the hardware he has under here, he's got some really nice clips, and then just does extra things like he's got his little rock blocks washer there, and then he's got these inserts here that work really well. So he did a good job on the design of those. Okay, so we've covered the trunk, the roof, the flares. The next thing I did was I added the Tusk windshield. So New Jersey Mountain Man suggested that, and I appreciate his videos. I've watched them a few times and got some good ideas from him. So that's worked well for me. It was kind of a pain to put on to get the alignment just right, but got it on. It's got a manual windshield wiper, seems to work pretty good. And then in the front here, it folds down, and then you can lock it into place. So if it's too hot and you want to not run it, you can put the front of that down and lock it in on these pins right here. So that works good. And then they have some extra brackets that come with it, so you can mount a 12-inch light bar right in here. So I'll probably do that if I don't end up putting one up on the roof, but I think I want one on the roof. And let's see, what else did we add on? I added on this rear Tusk polycarbonate window from Rocky Mountain ATV. That worked out pretty nice. And then the last thing, no, not the last thing, next to the last thing, I bought this sound bar from a buddy. This is the Boss BRT 26A. And then I went ahead and hardwired it in with a relay and, or with my switch and with a fuse block. And then I put a kind of an on-off speaker switch right here. And then what I run in here for navigation is I have a Lifetime tablet and Lifetime trail maps on a Samsung tablet. And let me come around to this side of the machine. I'll show you how I got it mounted up there. I use ram mounts for a lot of stuff. They're fantastic. So I got this big old ram mount thing that it fits on there really nice, and then the different arms to hold the tablet in. And Lifetime trail maps are just fantastic. They work really well. So there's lots of other reviews on the machine itself. So at this point, I'm trying to just show you most of the add-ons that I did in case you want information. And I'll put descriptions to the part numbers in the video, because that's half the frustration. You find a lot of these things, but you're not sure exactly what the part numbers are and if they're going to fit or not. So the last thing I just put on this week was the rock sliders. And thanks to a video, Brad Lewis, I think, he's out west and he has this exact machine. And I saw a video of his with the rock sliders, and I wrote to him and he was kind enough to get me the part number of these. So I will put that in the description as well. But these were kind of a pain to put on, but this side went pretty good. The other side was a little more of a hassle, just because that was the first side we did. But I did take out both seats and the seat frame to give myself a little bit more access. But what you have to do on these is, this top one was pretty easy because they actually put a little dimple in the center of the plastic. and then you can just drill your pilot hole and go through it with your hole saw. And then what you do is they got a nice Allen bolt that goes on this side, and on the other side, I'll show you how that works. I guess you can't see it. Sorry, it's too dark and the seat's in there. But on the other side over here, they provide a nice big nut that you can put on the back side. Word of warning, when you're doing this, you're going to want to put, there's two little holes on the back side that you don't utilize, but you're going to want to put a self-tapping screw in there to kind of use some channel locks or something, or some vice grips to hold it in place while you run this through. Otherwise, you're going to lose the nut down there, and you're going to have to fish it out between the inside wall and the skid plate. Speak from experience, it wasn't fun. So learn from my mistakes. These bottom ones were definitely trickier because for whatever reason, Can-Am doesn't, they gave us the blue rock sliders on the XRC, and they're not very substantial. They do a nice job, but it's not enough protection. So on the other machines like the XMR and just the regular sport machines, I think, like the XXC, I think they all have dimples for all three spots on the frame to drill through. This one didn't because it would have been behind this blue slider. So what we had to do is we got that one drilled out, and then we went ahead and put the rock slider on, and then we drew around each one with like a red Sharpie, found the center, and then went from there. And then once you drill it out with your hole saw bit, then there's a plug behind there that you need to pry out. And then once you pry that out, you can access the back side. And so for this one, I mentioned we took the seats out. So you put the nut on right behind my hand here on this one. On these bottom ones, you kind of got to get underneath, and they've provided these nice cutouts in the skid plate for both of those, so you can reach around the back on both the front and the back ones. So that worked out pretty good for that. But so far, really happy with these. They're very solid. Shake the whole machine. So that works pretty good. So any specific questions you guys have about this machine, feel free to send me some messages. I'd love to help you out, answer any questions you might have. But overall, could not be happier with this machine. It seems like Can-Am thinks of most everything with this, and seems like they do a quality job with all the components that go into this. So I'll probably do some more reviews with the machine running at some point, but just wanted to kind of do an add-on accessory review for you and provide some part numbers for you. All right, thanks guys. See ya.